He doesn't knock. He never does when he's confident. The door opens the way it always has. Except this time the sound travels farther than it should. The echo surprises him. He stands in the entryway, suitcase still in hand, waiting for the house to answer back. It doesn't. Behind him, the woman shifts her weight, heels clicking once against the tile. She takes in the space quickly, the way someone does when they're deciding whether something belongs to them yet. Is she home? She asks. He doesn't answer right away. His eyes have landed on the empty console table. The keys are gone. The framed photo too. The place where mail usually piles is clean, deliberately so. She must have stepped out, he says, but the words lack conviction. He walks further in, calling her name with the tone he uses when he expects compliance. The house responds with silence that feels organized, not abandoned, curated. The woman sets her bag down slowly, suddenly unsure where to put it. You said everything was handled. It is, he replies, too quickly. It's my house. But the air disagrees. In the kitchen, drawers are half empty. In the living room, the couch cushions are arranged with unfamiliar precision. It's the kind of order that comes after a decision, not before one. Only then does he notice the envelope. His name is written neatly across the front, centered, calm. No heart, no underline, just ink. He opens it standing up. Pages slide into his hand, documents, copies, signatures that are undeniably real. His jaw tightens as he flips through them, faster now, breath shortening. What is it? The woman asks, leaning in. He doesn't answer. His phone is already out, calling. Straight to voicemail. Again, he sits down hard, as if the floor has shifted without warning. Around him, the house remains intact, but something essential has been removed. Not furniture, not valuables. Authority. He had left believing things would be exactly where he'd put them. That absence was temporary. That patience was permission. He hadn't considered the possibility that while he was gone, someone else had been concluding things. Miles away, Nia watches a different ceiling. Not this one. She listens to unfamiliar sounds, traffic, voices, life continuing without her involvement. Her phone buzzes on the table beside her. She lets it. For the first time in a long while, she isn't late to anything. She isn't hiding. She is simply no longer where she had been expected to remain. And that is where the story actually begins. The invitation arrives on a Tuesday. Not to her. To him. Nia sees it because she's the one who collects the mail. A cream-colored envelope with his mother's handwriting, the kind that loops and slants with practiced elegance. She sets it on the counter where he'll find it. He opens it that evening while she's wiping down the stove. She hears the paper tear, then silence. Sunday, he says. My parents' place. Anniversary thing. She waits for the rest. It doesn't come. What time? She asks, not turning around. Probably 2. She rinses the sponge. Should I bring anything? He's already folding the card back into the envelope. It's just family. You know how my mom gets with too many people. The words land without weight, as if he's commenting on weather. Nia dries her hands slowly. I'm family. You know what I mean. She doesn't ask what he means. She used to. The first time, she asked directly, and he acted surprised that she'd misunderstood. The second time, he said it was about space, about his mother's anxiety, about keeping things simple. By the third time, the excuses had worn smooth from repetition. She folds the towel and hangs it exactly where it belongs. Okay, she says. He looks up then, briefly, as if checking whether she means it. Satisfied by her tone, he nods and leaves the kitchen. That night, she lies awake longer than usual. Not thinking, just aware. The ceiling fan clicks with each rotation. She counts 16 clicks before she stops counting. Beside her, he sleeps soundly. Sunday comes. He showers early, takes longer than usual with his hair. She makes coffee and drinks it standing by the window. Outside, a neighbor drags a trash bin to the curb. The sound scrapes against the morning quiet. I'll probably be back around 6, he says, checking his watch. She nods. You'll be okay? The question feels automatic. She answers the same way. I'll be fine. He kisses her forehead on his way out. The gesture is brief, performative. The door closes behind him with a soft click. Nia stands in the kitchen for a long time after he's gone. The house settles into itself. No voices. No expectations. Just the hum of the refrigerator and the distant sound of someone mowing a lawn. She picks up her phone. Scrolls. Puts it down again. In the bathroom, she examines her face in the mirror. There's nothing dramatic there. No visible grief. Just a woman who looks tired in a way that sleep won't fix. She showers, dresses, makes lunch she doesn't eat. At 3 o'clock, she imagines them gathered around the table. His mother at the head, directing conversation. His father carving something. His sister laughing too loudly at a story Nia has heard before. Him, comfortable, belonging without effort. She wonders if anyone asks about her. She suspects they don't. By 5, she's sitting on the couch with a book she isn't reading. The pages turn without her permission, her hand moving while her mind stays elsewhere. He returns at 6:15, louder than necessary. Keys jangling. Shoes kicked off in the entryway. Hey, he calls out. You eat yet? Not yet. He appears in the doorway, loosening his collar. We should order something. I'm exhausted. She closes the book. How was it? Good. You know how it is. My mom made that pasta thing she always makes. He pulls out his phone, already scrolling through restaurant menus. Tire pizza? Was it nice? She asks again, quieter. He glances up, distracted. What? The anniversary. Oh, yeah. Same as always. He turns back to his phone. I'm thinking pizza. That place on Elm. She watches him scroll. His thumb moves with easy certainty. He has already forgotten the question. Sure, she says. Pizza's fine. Later, they eat in front of the television. Some show he picked. She chews slowly, mechanically. The cheese tastes like nothing. He laughs at something on screen. She doesn't catch what. When she goes to bed, he stays up. She hears the television murmur through the walls, a low frequency that vibrates more than it speaks. She lies in the dark, eyes open. The fan clicks. 16 times. Then 16 more. She doesn't count after that. The second time, Nia almost convinces herself it's different. His cousin is getting married. The invitation comes addressed to both of them, printed names side by side in elegant script. She feels something loosen in her chest when she sees it. October, he says, scanning the details. That's the weekend of the conference. She looks up from the cutting board where she's been slicing vegetables. What conference? The one I told you about. Chicago. He hadn't told her about Chicago. But she doesn't correct him. Can you move it? She asks. He's already shaking his head. It's been scheduled for months. I'm presenting. So we'll miss the wedding? I'll miss it. You should go. The knife pauses mid-slice. By myself. Why not? You like Melissa. She does like Melissa. That isn't the point. It's your family, she says carefully. He shrugs, setting the invitation back down. I'll send a gift. They'll understand. But the way he says it, casual, already decided, makes her stomach tighten. He's not asking her opinion. He's informing her of the arrangement. I don't think I should go alone, she tries. You won't be alone. My whole family will be there. The logic is airtight. The feeling underneath it isn't. She finishes cutting the vegetables in silence. October arrives cold and early. He leaves for Chicago on Thursday. She watches him pack, tucking shirts into his suitcase with the same methodical precision he applies to everything. You'll be okay? He asks, not looking up. I'll be fine. Friday afternoon, she tries on 3 different dresses. None of them feel right. She settles on the navy one because it's the least complicated. At the venue, she arrives exactly on time. Too early for fashionably late, too late to help. The parking lot is already full. She sits in her car for 5 extra minutes, practicing a smile that won't require maintenance. Inside, the reception hall buzzes with noise. Clusters of people she half recognizes. His aunt near the bar. His uncle by the gift table. Melissa in white, radiant, surrounded. Nia approaches slowly. Melissa sees her and waves, but someone pulls her away mid-gesture. The wave hangs unfinished in the air. She finds a seat at a table near the back. The place card next to hers reads a name she doesn't know. The chair stays empty. During dinner, his mother passes by her table twice. Once going to the restroom, once returning. Both times, their eyes meet briefly. Both times, his mother's gaze slides away politely, as if Nia is a distant acquaintance she's trying not to encourage. No one asks where he is. Later, during speeches, someone makes a joke about marriage and commitment. The room laughs warmly. Nia smiles on cue, but her face feels tight. She leaves before the dancing starts. No one stops her. At home, the house is exactly as she left it. Silent. Organized. Waiting. She texts him. Hope the conference is going well. He responds 3 hours later. Great turnout. Miss you. She reads the message twice, trying to find the place where it should comfort her. It doesn't arrive. The third time happens in December. His father's birthday. A dinner reservation at a restaurant downtown. He mentions it on his way out the door one morning, casual as weather. This Saturday, 7 o'clock. She looks up from her coffee. Should I? It's just going to be my parents and my sister. Keep it small. There it is again. That phrase. Keep it small. As if her presence enlarges things unmanageably. Your sister's bringing Marcus, she says quietly. He's already reaching for his keys. That's different. How? He stops. Turns. His expression isn't angry. It's worse than that. It's patient. The kind of patience reserved for someone who's failing to understand something obvious. Nia. It's one dinner. It's not about one dinner. But even as she says it, she hears how it sounds. Petty. Needy. The kind of complaint that makes her the problem instead of what's happening. He sighs. We'll do something next weekend. Just us. I promise. The promise feels like a door closing softly. Saturday comes. He leaves at 6:30. She watches from the window as his car backs out of the driveway, brake lights flashing once before disappearing around the corner. She doesn't make dinner. Instead, she sits at the kitchen table with a notepad and begins writing down dates. Not dramatically, just factually. Anniversaries, birthdays, holidays, gatherings. Next to each date, she writes whether she was invited. The list grows longer than she expects. When she's finished, she stares at it for a long time. The pattern is undeniable now, written in her own handwriting. Not an accident. Not a series of unfortunate logistics. A structure. She folds the paper carefully and puts it in the drawer where she keeps bills and receipts. Things that need tracking. Things that prove what happened. That night, he comes home smelling like wine and his mother's perfume. He's relaxed, easy. He tells her about the meal, about his father's terrible joke, about his sister's new promotion. She listens. She nods. She doesn't show him the list. When he asks if she's okay, she says yes. And for the first time, she realizes she's not sure what that word means anymore. Nia starts noticing things she used to ignore. Not intentionally at first. But once she begins looking, the details refuse to stay hidden. It starts with receipts. He's never been careful about them. They accumulate in his jacket pockets, his car console, the basket by the front door where keys and mail collect. She used to throw them away without reading them. Now she doesn't. Dinner for two at a restaurant they've never been to together. A hotel charge from a weekend he said was a work trip. Flowers purchased on a Tuesday. She received nothing that week. She doesn't confront him. Not yet. She photographs them instead. The camera on her phone makes no sound when she disables the shutter click. The images save automatically to a folder she labels Receipts 2024. The folder grows. In February, she notices the credit card statement arrives thinner than usual. When she opens it, something she's always done, managing their household accounts, several charges have been redacted. Blacked out. A note at the bottom explains that certain transactions have been moved to paperless only at the cardholder's request. She checks the online portal. His password is changed. She tries the old one twice to be certain. Access denied. At dinner that night, she keeps her voice neutral. Did you change the password for the Visa account? He looks up from his phone. The credit card. I can't log in. Oh, yeah, I updated it. Security thing. He returns to scrolling. Why? Do you need something? I usually reconcile the accounts on Fridays. Don't worry about it. I've got it handled. He says it like he's doing her a favor, lightening her load. She sets down her fork carefully. I'd still like access. Nia. He glances up, mildly irritated now. It's fine. You don't need to micromanage everything. The conversation ends there because she lets it. But that night, she opens her laptop and begins searching. Quietly, methodically. She finds the property deed filed in the county records. Both their names appear, but the original title, the one before refinancing, shows only hers. Her parents' down payment. Her credit score. Her signature first. She downloads the document. She checks their joint savings account. The balance is lower than she remembers. Not dramatically, just enough to notice if you're paying attention. She scrolls through the transaction history. Regular withdrawals over 6 months. Small amounts. 200 here. 350 there. Nothing alarming individually. Together, they total over $9,000. She cross-references the dates with her calendar. Each withdrawal corresponds to a weekend he was away. Work trips. Conferences. That visit to see his college friend. She creates a spreadsheet. Dates in one column, amounts in another, locations in a third. The pattern emerges cleanly. On a Wednesday afternoon, while he's at work, she opens the filing cabinet in his office. The one he asked her not to organize because he has a system. She's never questioned it before. Inside, folders are labeled clearly. Taxes, insurance, utilities, and one marked simply personal. She pulls it out. Inside are bank statements for an account she doesn't recognize. Not joint, just his name. The balance is substantial. Not hidden exactly, just separated. Money moving in monthly increments from their joint account. Her money, technically, from the inheritance she deposited last year after her father died. She sits on the floor of his office, documents spread around her like evidence at a crime scene. Her hands don't shake. That surprises her. She photographs every page. The statements, the account numbers, the transfer history. Then she returns everything exactly as she found it, checking twice that the folder alignment matches the dust pattern on the shelf. That evening, she cooks dinner like always. Chicken, rice, vegetables roasted with olive oil and thyme. He compliments the meal. She thanks him. They watch television. His choice. A legal drama where everyone speaks in polished sentences and justice arrives on schedule. She laughs when the audience laughs. She's gotten good at that. Later, in bed, he reaches for her. His touch is familiar but distant, like muscle memory performing without thought. She doesn't refuse him. She's learned that refusal requires explanations she doesn't want to give. Afterward, he falls asleep quickly. His breathing deepens, becomes rhythmic. She stares at the ceiling and thinks about numbers. Dates. Withdrawals. The careful architecture of concealment. In the morning, she makes breakfast. Eggs. Toast. Coffee in the mug he prefers. I might meet Sarah for lunch today, she says, keeping her tone light. Sounds good. He's already checking his phone. I've got that meeting until 3, so I'll be late. No problem. She waits until his car is gone before she picks up her own phone. The call connects on the second ring. Sarah. Hi. Do you still have that lawyer friend? The one you mentioned last year. Sarah's voice sharpens with concern. Nia? What's going on? Nothing urgent. I just need some advice. About property. And financial stuff. There's a pause. Then, carefully. Are you okay? Nia looks around the kitchen. The counters she wipes down every night. The table where they eat in comfortable silence. The window that overlooks a lawn maintained to his exact specifications. I'm not sure yet, she says. But I'm going to be. She writes down the name and number Sarah gives her. Attorney. Specializes in family law and asset protection. She doesn't call immediately. Instead, she opens her laptop and adds a new sheet to her spreadsheet. This one is labeled Options. She begins typing. The words come easier than she expects. The lawyer's office is in a building Nia has driven past 100 times without noticing. 3rd floor. Modest. The waiting room has chairs that don't match and magazines from 2 months ago. She arrives 15 minutes early and sits near the window where she can see the parking lot. Her phone buzzes. A text from him. What time will you be home? She types back, probably around 4. Running errands. 3 dots appear, then disappear. No response follows. Nia? The woman standing in the doorway is younger than she expected. Mid-30s, maybe. Sharp blazer. Eyes that assess without judgment. I'm Rebecca Chun. Come on back. The office is small but organized. Diplomas on the wall. A shelf of legal volumes with cracked spines. Rebecca gestures to a chair and closes the door with a soft click. Sarah said you needed advice about property. Nia nods. Her hands rest in her lap, fingers laced together. I'm not sure where to start. Start anywhere. We'll sort it out. So she does. The house. The deed. The refinancing that added his name. The account she didn't know about. The withdrawals. The receipts. She doesn't mention the exclusions, the dinners, the pattern of erasure. Those feel too small to justify what she's considering. Rebecca listens without interrupting. Takes notes occasionally. When Nia finishes, the silence stretches just long enough to feel uncomfortable. How long have you been married? Rebecca asks. 3 years. And the house was purchased before the marriage? Yes. My parents helped with the down payment. My name was on everything originally. Rebecca leans back in her chair. In this state, property acquired before marriage generally remains separate unless it's been commingled. The refinancing complicates things, but the original documentation helps your case. What does that mean? It means you have options. Not easy ones, but options. Rebecca outlines them carefully. Partition, buyout, sale. Each carries its own complexity, its own timeline, its own cost. Nia listens, trying to absorb information that feels both abstract and crushingly real. What about the money? She asks. The withdrawals from our joint account. If you can document that the funds originated from your separate property, the inheritance, for example, you may be able to claim reimbursement. But you'd need clear records. I have records. Rebecca's expression shifts slightly. Not surprise. Recognition. Good. Hold on to those. Don't let him know you have them yet. When should I tell him? Not until you've decided what you want to do, and not until everything is in place. Rebecca pulls out a business card and writes something on the back. This is a financial advisor who works with people in transition. She can help you understand what you'll need if you decide to separate assets. Nia takes the card. The weight of it feels disproportionate to its size. One more thing, Rebecca says. Change your passwords. All of them. Email, bank accounts, anything he might have access to. Do it from a device he doesn't use. He's not. Nia stops. She was going to say he's not dangerous. But she realizes she's defending someone who's already been taking from her methodically. Okay. This isn't about him being a bad person, Rebecca says, her voice gentler now. It's about protecting yourself during a process that brings out the worst in people. Even good people. Nia nods. She doesn't say that she's not sure he qualifies as good anymore. Or that maybe he never did, and she's only now allowing herself to see it. The consultation lasts 45 minutes. Rebecca doesn't charge her for the first meeting. Call me when you're ready, she says. Or if anything escalates. Don't wait if you feel unsafe. I'm not unsafe. Rebecca holds her gaze. Okay, but you have my number. Nia drives home carefully, obeying every speed limit. Her mind catalogs the conversation, filing away terms and timelines. Partition, commingling, separate property, the language of dismantling. At a red light, she notices her hands are steady on the wheel. That night, she waits until he's asleep before opening her laptop in the spare bedroom. She changes her email password first, then her bank login, then the passwords for accounts she'd forgotten she had, utilities, subscriptions, the pharmacy. For each one, she chooses something he wouldn't guess. Not birthdays or anniversaries. Not their address. Random strings of characters she saves in a document stored in a cloud account he doesn't know exists. The next morning, she visits the financial advisor Rebecca recommended. The woman's name is Patricia. She has gray hair and the calm demeanor of someone who's seen this before. Patricia asks questions Nia hasn't considered. What does she earn separately? What debts exist? What would living independently cost per month? The numbers emerge slowly, assembled from pay stubs and bills and estimates. You're in better shape than you think, Patricia says finally. Not comfortable yet, but viable. Viable. The word sounds like permission. Nia opens a new bank account that afternoon. A small one at a different institution. She transfers $500 from her personal checking, not their joint account. Nothing that would trigger attention. It's not much, but it's separate. Hers alone. Over the next 3 weeks, she moves carefully. She gathers documents. The original property deed, tax returns, insurance policies. She makes copies at the library, not at home where he might notice the printer activity. She stores everything in a fireproof box she buys with cash and keeps in the trunk of her car. She tells him none of it. At dinner, they discuss ordinary things. His projects at work, a neighbor's new fence, whether they need to replace the water heater. She participates with appropriate interest, offering opinions when asked. He suspects nothing. Why would he? She's acting exactly as she always has. Except now, beneath the surface, she's counting. Days. Dollars. Documents. One evening, he mentions a trip in April. Conference in Seattle. For days. You should come, he says, surprising her. Make a vacation out of it. For a moment, she almost believes he means it. Almost believes this is repair attempting to happen. I'll think about it, she says. But she's already thinking about something else. For days. The house empty. Time to move what needs moving without explanation. She marks the dates in her calendar with a small dot. No words. No labels. Just a quiet reminder that she's no longer waiting for things to change. She's preparing for what comes after they don't. The morning he leaves for Seattle, Nia wakes before the alarm. She lies still, listening to him move through his routine. Shower. Electric razor. The particular way he clears his throat while choosing a tie. Sounds she's memorized without meaning to. He leans over the bed to kiss her forehead. I'll call you when I land. Safe flight. The door closes. The car starts. The garage door rattles down. She counts to 100 before getting up. By 8 o'clock, she's made 3 calls. The locksmith can come at noon. The storage unit is available immediately. The moving help, 2 guys with a truck, no questions asked, can be there by 2. She eats breakfast standing at the counter. Toast. Black coffee. Her stomach feels tight, but her hands are steady. The locksmith arrives exactly on time. He's older, efficient, uninterested in explanations. Both locks, he asks. Both locks. And the garage code reset. You want the deadbolt rekeyed or replaced? Replaced. He works quickly. The sound of drilling fills the house, aggressive and final. When he finishes, he hands her 3 new keys on a ring. Old keys won't work anymore, he says unnecessarily. Good. After he leaves, she stands in the entryway testing the new lock. It turns smoothly, clicks with satisfying certainty. The sound is different from before. Sharper. She pockets 2 keys and puts the third in an envelope she addresses to Rebecca's office. The movers arrive at 2:15. They're younger than she expected. One has earbuds in. The other asks where to start. Bedroom first, she says. The dresser on the left. The nightstand. The bookshelf by the window. They work without commentary. She's marked everything clearly with colored tape. Blue for what goes, red for what stays. They don't ask why she's only taking half the furniture from each room. Because she's not emptying the house, just removing herself from it. Her clothes. Her books. The kitchen items her grandmother left her. The painting she bought before they met. Small things that belong to her in ways that have nothing to do with receipts or documentation. By 4 o'clock, the truck is loaded. Not full, but full enough. Where to? The one without earbuds asks. She gives them the storage unit address. It's 20 minutes away. Climate controlled. Paid for 6 months in advance under her maiden name. She follows them in her own car. Watches as they unload everything into a unit that smells like concrete and possibility. When they finish, she tips them in cash and thanks them. They leave without asking a single question. Alone in the storage unit, she walks between the boxes and furniture. Her life, compressed. Temporary. But hers. She locks the unit and drives back to the house. It's after 6 now. The light is different. Golden and slanted. She parks in the driveway and sits for a moment, looking at the structure that was supposed to mean something. Inside, the house feels the way she intended. Present but altered. His things remain exactly where they were. The couch. His desk. His coffee maker. But the spaces where her belongings lived are now carefully empty. She walks through each room, checking. The bathroom counter where her skincare routine used to crowd his electric toothbrush. Bare now, just his things remaining. The closet where her clothes hung. Space opened up like missing teeth. In the kitchen, she makes dinner for 1. Pasta. Simple. She eats it at the counter, not the table. Afterward, she washes the single plate, the single fork, and places them in the drying rack. Then she pulls out the envelope she prepared yesterday. Inside are copies. Bank statements. Withdrawal records. The original property deed. A timeline she typed out in careful detail. And a brief note, 2 sentences long. The locks have been changed. Contact Rebecca Chun at the number below for any legal questions. She doesn't apologize. She doesn't explain. The documents do that work already. She seals the envelope and places it on the kitchen counter where he'll see it immediately. Centers it carefully. His name across the front in her handwriting. Her phone buzzes. A text from him. Landed safe. Conference starts in an hour. Miss you. She reads it twice. Feels nothing in particular. She types back. Glad you made it. Talk later. Then she picks up her suitcase, packed last night, hidden in the trunk, and walks through the house one final time. She doesn't linger. Doesn't second guess. Just moves through rooms that suddenly feel like stage sets. Props arranged to suggest a life that stopped happening somewhere along the way. At the door, she pauses. Tests the new lock one more time. It engages smoothly. She gets in her car and drives. Not far. Just to the extended stay hotel on the east side of town. The kind of place people use during relocations, between one version of life and the next. She's booked it for 2 weeks under her own name. Paid in full. The room is small. Beige. Impersonal. A bed. A desk. a window that overlooks the parking lot. She sets her suitcase down and sits on the edge of the bed. Her phone is silent. He won't call tonight. He's at the conference dinner, networking, laughing with colleagues, drinking wine someone else paid for. Tomorrow morning, he'll call. She knows this with certainty. The same certainty she had when she documented his withdrawals, when she hired the locksmith, when she loaded her life into a storage unit. Tomorrow, he'll call. And she won't answer. Not immediately. Maybe not for days. Because for the first time in 3 years, she's not waiting for him to include her, to remember her, to make space for her in his carefully ordered life. She's not waiting at all. She turns off the bedside lamp and lies down fully dressed. The mattress is firmer than she's used to. The room temperature's slightly too cool. The sounds are all wrong. Traffic, voices in the hallway, the ice machine 3 doors down. She closes her eyes. Sleep doesn't come immediately, but something else does. Quiet. Real quiet. Not the kind that waits for interruption. The kind that belongs to her now. He calls at 7:30 in the morning. She's already awake, sitting by the window with coffee from the lobby. Her phone vibrates against the desk. His name lights up the screen. She watches it ring. Lets it go to voicemail. 2 minutes later, he calls again. She silences it. A text arrives. Hey, call me when you get this. Then another, Nia? Then, is everything okay? She sets the phone face down and finishes her coffee. 400 miles away, he stands in the hotel bathroom, toothbrush in hand, staring at his phone. The conference doesn't start for another hour. He has time. He tries again. Voicemail. Something twists in his stomach. Not worry exactly. Irritation, maybe. She always answers. He calls the house line. It rings 6 times before going to the machine. His own voice plays back the greeting they recorded together 3 years ago, back when that felt important. He leaves a message. Hey, just checking in. Call me back. The morning sessions drag. He sits through a panel on market strategies, barely listening. His phone stays in his hand under the table. No notifications. No callbacks. At lunch, he tries her twice more. By 3 o'clock, irritation has shifted into something sharper. He texts Sarah, Nia's friend. Hey, have you heard from Nia today? She's not answering her phone. Sarah responds immediately. I'm sure she's fine. Maybe her phone died. For 6 hours? Give her some space. She'll call when she can. The phrasing bothers him. When she can. Like there's a reason she can't. Like something is preventing her. He leaves the afternoon sessions early and goes back to his room. Tries calling again. Voicemail. The sound of her recorded voice feels like mockery now. That night, he lies awake in the hotel bed, phone on his chest, checking it every few minutes. Nothing. He books an earlier flight home. The house looks normal when he pulls into the driveway the next afternoon. Lawn mowed. Garage door closed. Everything in its place. His key slides into the lock. Turns halfway. Stops. He tries again, applying more pressure. The key won't rotate. He pulls it out, examines it like it might have changed shape overnight. Then he tries the spare from his keyring. Same result. What the hell? He walks around to the side door. Same problem. The key enters, but won't turn. Through the front window, he can see inside. The living room. The furniture. Everything looks untouched. He calls her again. It rings once, then goes to voicemail. Not dead battery. Decline call. Nia, I'm at the house. The locks aren't working. Call me back. Now. He stands on the front porch, key in hand, trying to understand what's happening. A neighbor walks by with a dog. Waves. He waves back automatically. His phone buzzes. A text from her. Finally. Check the kitchen counter. That's all it says. He stares at the message. Reads it 3 times. The words don't clarify anything. What are you talking about? I can't get in. The locks are broken. They're not broken. The implication arrives slowly, like cold water rising. Nia, open the door. She doesn't respond. He tries calling. Declined immediately. This isn't funny. Still nothing. He walks back to his car and sits in the driver's seat, door open, 1 foot still on the driveway. His mind circles the problem, looking for the angle he's missing. Then he sees movement. Not at the house. At the car parked across the street. Someone sitting in the driver's seat. Watching. He squints. A woman. Alone. She's not hiding, just waiting. He gets out and walks toward her. She rolls down the window as he approaches. Can I help you? He asks, trying to sound authoritative despite everything. She's maybe 40. Professional. Calm. Are you David? The use of his first name stops him. Who are you? I'm Rebecca Chun. I represent your wife. She hands him a business card through the window. Nia asked me to be here when you arrived. To make sure things stayed civil. Civil? What are you? He looks at the card. Attorney at law. Family practice. The words rearrange themselves into meaning. This is insane. There's an envelope inside. On the kitchen counter. It explains everything. I can't get inside. She changed the locks. Yes, she did. The confirmation lands like a physical thing. She can't just lock me out of my own house. Actually, the property documentation is complicated. That's covered in the envelope. Rebecca's voice remains even. Professional. I'd recommend reading it before we proceed with any conversations. We? There's no we. This is between me and my wife. Not anymore. He stares at her. At this stranger in a parked car delivering news that shouldn't be possible. His wife doesn't do things like this. His wife is quiet. Agreeable. Manageable. This is illegal, he says, but he sounds uncertain now. It's not. But if you'd like to contest that, you're welcome to consult your own attorney. Rebecca starts her car. I'll be in my office until 5. The number's on the card. She drives away slowly, signaling at the corner like this is a normal Thursday afternoon. He stands in the street, business card in hand, watching her taillights disappear. His phone rings. Unknown number. He answers without thinking. Mr. Hayes? This is Safe Haven Storage. We have a unit listed under Nia Hayes' name, and she's authorized you to know the location. Would you like the address? What? No, I don't. What are you talking about? Your wife opened a storage unit yesterday. She wanted you to know where it is. Should I text you the details? Yes. No. Wait. But the line is already disconnected. A text arrives with an address 15 minutes away. He drives there in a daze. The facility is industrial. Rows of identical orange doors. Unit 237 is in the back corner. It's locked. Of course it's locked. Through the small gap at the bottom, he can see shapes. Boxes. Furniture that looks familiar. He pulls at the lock. It doesn't budge. He sits down right there on the concrete, back against the door, and tries her number again. This time, she answers. Nia. Don't come to the hotel, she says quietly. Don't try to find me. Read the envelope. Talk to your lawyer. We'll handle this properly. Handle what? What is happening? You know what's happening. I don't. I really don't. There's a long pause. He can hear her breathing. Background noise. A television or traffic. She's somewhere unfamiliar. You stopped including me, she says finally. So I stopped waiting. That's not. We can talk about this. Whatever you think happened. I don't think anything happened, David. I documented what happened. It's all in the envelope. Nia, please, come home. We'll figure this out. That's not my home anymore. The line goes dead. He sits outside the storage unit until the sun drops below the facility walls. Until the fluorescent lights overhead flicker on with a mechanical buzz. His phone stays silent. Eventually, he drives back to the house. Parks in the driveway. Stares at the front door with its new lock. Its mechanism that no longer recognizes him. Inside, on the counter, an envelope waits with his name on it. But he can't get to it. And somehow, that seems like the entire point. The first call comes from his mother. He's sitting in a hotel room. Not the Seattle one anymore. A different one, local, depressingly beige, when his phone lights up. David, what on earth is going on? He closes his eyes. Who told you? Your sister ran into Sarah at the grocery store. She said Nia left you. Her voice rises on the last word, like the concept is physically painful. Please tell me that's not true. It's complicated. What did you do? The question surprises him. Why do you assume I did something? Because Nia doesn't do things like this. She's reasonable. So something must have happened. He wants to argue, but exhaustion wins. I don't know, Mom. She changed the locks. She won't talk to me. She has a lawyer. Silence on the other end. Then, carefully, a lawyer? Yeah. Oh, David. His mother's voice shifts into the tone she used when he was young and had disappointed her. What did you do? Nothing. I went to a conference and came home, and everything was. He stops. Even to himself, it sounds incomplete. I don't know. You need to fix this. I'm trying. She won't answer. Try harder. His mother pauses. Call her. Go to wherever she's staying. Apologize. For what? For whatever you did that made her hire a lawyer, David. The call ends shortly after. He sits holding the phone, feeling like he's failed a test he didn't know he was taking. His sister calls an hour later. Her approach is different. Less accusatory. More strategic. Have you read the envelope yet? I can't. It's inside the house. So break a window. Emma. I'm serious. You need to know what you're dealing with. Breaking in seems like a bad idea legally. You're already in a bad place legally. Might as well know why. She has a point. But he doesn't break the window. Instead, he calls a locksmith. Explains that he's locked out of his own home. The man asks for ID and proof of ownership. It's my house, David says. Is your name on the deed? Yes. Both our names are. The locksmith sounds apologetic. Then I can't help you without both signatures authorizing the work. Liability thing. If she changed the locks, she had a reason. After he hangs up, David sits in his car outside the house for the third time in 2 days. A neighbor he barely knows walks by, slows down, clearly wants to ask what's happening. David starts the engine and leaves before the conversation can begin. That night, his father calls. Your mother's upset. I know. What's your plan here? David has no plan. He has confusion and a growing sense that something important is escaping him, has been escaping him for longer than he wants to admit. I'm working on it, he says. Work faster. This is embarrassing. The word stings more than it should. Embarrassing. Not tragic. Not heartbreaking. Embarrassing. I'll handle it, David says. But he doesn't know how to handle someone who's already gone. By Friday, his phone is full of messages from people he hasn't talked to in months. Friends. Extended family. A cousin in Portland. Everyone has heard something. The stories vary. She left him. He cheated. There's money missing. Someone's sick. None of them are exactly right. All of them are partially true. Sarah texts him directly. Leave her alone. She needs space. He responds, I need to talk to her. You had years to talk to her. The words sit on his screen, accusatory. He types and deletes 3 different responses before giving up. On Saturday, his mother shows up at his hotel room. He doesn't know how she found him, but she's always been resourceful. We need to talk about this, she says, pushing past him into the room. She looks around. The unmade bed, the takeout containers, the general disarray of someone whose life has come apart unexpectedly. David, look at yourself. I'm fine. You're not fine. And you need to get Nia back. She won't. Because you're not trying the right way. His mother sits on the edge of the bed, hands folded in her lap. You need to show her you've changed. Changed from what? I didn't do anything wrong. His mother's expression shifts. Something harder underneath the concern. You really believe that? He stops. I don't know what she wants from me. She wanted you to see her. To include her. To treat her like she mattered. His mother speaks slowly, like explaining something to a child. Your father and I noticed. Noticed what? That you stopped bringing her around. That you made excuses. We thought it was temporary. A rough patch. She looks at him steadily. But it kept happening. And we didn't say anything because it wasn't our place. But we noticed. The admission feels like betrayal. So you all just watched? What were we supposed to do? She's an adult. You're an adult. We assumed you'd work it out. Well, we didn't. His mother stands, smoothing her skirt. Then you need to figure out what you're willing to do to fix this. Because right now, she's got lawyers and documentation and a plan. What do you have? He doesn't answer. After she leaves, he finally calls Rebecca Chun. The receptionist answers. Professional. Polite. Mr. Hayes. Ms. Chun has been expecting your call. Rebecca comes on the line a moment later. David, have you retained counsel? No. I just want to talk to my wife. She's not interested in talking right now. When will she be interested? I don't know. That's up to her. This is insane. We can work this out without lawyers. Rebecca's voice remains calm. Practiced. The envelope contains documentation of financial irregularities and property concerns. If you'd like to discuss those. I can't get into the house. That's something your attorney can help you with. I don't have an attorney. Then I'd suggest retaining one. In the meantime, any communication should go through me. She's my wife. Yes. And she's my client. The call ends. He sits holding his phone, staring at Rebecca's business card. Family law. Divorce. Mediation. The words might as well be in a foreign language. He doesn't hire a lawyer that day. Or the next. Instead, he drives to the house again. Parks across the street. Watches the windows for movement that never comes. A police car rolls by slowly. The officer looks at him, looks at the house, makes a note. David starts his car and leaves. That night, his sister texts, Mom's having people pray for you at church. He doesn't respond. Another message, You know what you need to do, right? He types, what? Read the envelope. Face what's in it. Stop pretending you don't know what happened. He reads the message 3 times. Then he searches for locksmiths again. More expensive ones. Ones that might be willing to bend the rules. He finds one. Pays extra. The man agrees to come Tuesday morning. If anyone asks, the locksmith says, I verified ownership. Got it. Got it. David hangs up and feels something he hasn't felt in days. Not relief. Control returning, maybe. Or the illusion of it. The locksmith arrives at 9. David watches from his car as the man parks his van, pulls out tools, approaches the front door with professional efficiency. No hesitation. No questions. The lock yields in under 5 minutes. David waits until the locksmith leaves before approaching. The door opens smoothly. The house exhales stale air, the smell of a place that's been closed too long. Inside, everything looks the same and completely different. His furniture, his coffee maker, his desk visible through the office doorway. But the spaces between things feel intentional now. Curated absences where her presence used to be. The envelope sits exactly where Rebecca said it would be. Kitchen counter. Centered. His name in Nia's handwriting. He picks it up. The weight surprises him. He doesn't open it immediately. Instead, he walks through the house, cataloging what's missing. Her dresser. Her bookshelf. The kitchen stool she always sat on. Small things that added up to a person. In the closet, her side is completely empty. Hangers evenly spaced. Nothing left behind accidentally. The bathroom has only his toothbrush, his razor, his cologne on the counter. He returns to the kitchen and finally opens the envelope. The first page is a copy of the original property deed. Her name alone. The date predates their marriage by 8 months. The second page is the refinancing document. Both names. His signature added. Then bank statements. Joint account. Highlighted withdrawals. $9,340 over 6 months. He recognizes the dates. The amounts. Conferences that weren't just conferences. Trips that required expenses he couldn't quite explain. His hands start shaking somewhere around page 7. There's a timeline. Printed. Detailed. Every family gathering he attended without her. Every excuse he made. The pattern laid out in a way that's impossible to misinterpret or reframe. The last page is brief. 2 sentences. The house is being listed for sale. Please direct all questions to Rebecca Chun. No signature. Just information. He sits at the kitchen table, the table she picked out, that her money paid for, and reads everything again. Slower this time, letting the documentation sink in. He wants to argue with it, to explain that the withdrawals were necessary, that the exclusions were justified, that she's misunderstanding something fundamental. But the numbers don't lie, and the dates don't either. His phone rings. Unknown number. He answers anyway. Mr. Hayes? This is Monica Reeves from Summit Realty. I'm calling about the property at 847 Maple Drive. Your wife has listed it for sale, and I wanted to coordinate access for showings. The words take a moment to process. She can't do that. Actually, as a co-owner, she can initiate the sale. You'll receive your portion of the proceeds minus the reimbursement for her separate property investment, of course. Reimbursement? The down payment and renovation costs she covered prior to marriage. It's outlined in the preliminary settlement documents. You should have received those from her attorney. He looks at the papers spread on the table. There's another page he missed. Settlement proposal. Numbers and terms and a calculated breakdown of who owes what to whom. I didn't agree to this, he says. Monica's voice remains pleasant. Professional. You don't have to agree. If you'd like to contest the sale or buy out her share, you're welcome to do so. Otherwise, the listing goes active Monday. Monday? That's 3 days. Yes. We're pricing it competitively. Should move quickly in this market. After she hangs up, David calls Rebecca. I want to talk to her, he says immediately. She's not available. This is my house too. Yes. Which is why you'll receive your portion of the sale proceeds. Unless you'd prefer to buy her out? She's open to that option. He thinks about his savings. The account she doesn't know about. Except apparently she does know about it, because there's a page documenting those deposits too. How much, he asks. Rebecca names a figure. It's more than he has. Not by much, but enough to matter. I need time. You have until Friday to make an offer. After that, the listing goes active and we accept the first qualified buyer. That's not enough time. It's what she's offering. Can I at least see her? Talk to her face to face? No. The word is absolute. Final. No negotiation available. This is insane, he says, but the word has lost its power through repetition. This is business, Rebecca corrects. Property division. Asset settlement. It's actually quite straightforward. After the call ends, he sits in the house that suddenly doesn't feel like his. He could buy her out. Maybe. If he liquidates everything. If he takes a loan. If he's willing to be financially compromised for the next 5 years. Or he could let it sell. Take his portion. Start over somewhere smaller. Somewhere that doesn't have her absence built into every room. By evening, he still hasn't decided. His sister calls. Did you read the envelope? Yeah. And? She's selling the house. Emma is quiet for a moment. Can she do that? Apparently. Are you going to fight it? He looks around the kitchen. The counters Nia chose. The backsplash she researched for weeks. The light fixtures she insisted would make the space feel bigger. I don't know, he says. On Monday, the listing goes active. He knows because his mother calls at 8 in the morning. Melissa just sent me the link. Your house is for sale. On the internet. With photos. I know, Mom. Everyone can see it. Everyone knows. I know. This is humiliating, David. He almost laughs. That word again. As if public perception matters more than what actually happened. The first showing is scheduled for Wednesday. Monica calls to coordinate. I'll need access between 2 and 4. Will you be there? It's my house. Of course. I just need to know for scheduling purposes. He's there. Waiting. When the couple arrives with Monica, they walk through like he's part of the furniture. Examining cabinet space. Testing faucets. Opening closets. Why are you selling? The woman asks. Monica answers before he can. The owners are relocating. Looking for something fresh. It's not a lie. Just not the whole truth. They make an offer that evening. Full price. Cash. 30-day close. Monica calls him first. It's a strong offer. I recommend accepting. What does Nia say? She's already accepted pending your agreement. She can't accept without me. Actually, she can reject offers without you. But she can't accept without your consent. So, do you consent? He looks around the kitchen one more time. The house he thought was his. The life he thought was secure. Yeah, he says finally. I consent. The paperwork moves faster than seems possible. Inspections. Appraisals. Title work. He signs documents in Monica's office, sitting across from a notary who doesn't care why he's selling. Nia signs separately. Different time. Different room. Monica shuttles papers between them like they're strangers completing a transaction. Which, he realizes, is exactly what they are now. The closing is scheduled for 3 weeks out. He starts looking for apartments. Places he can afford with his half of the proceeds minus what he owes back for her initial investment. The numbers are worse than he expected. His parents offer to help. He refuses. Pride, maybe. Or exhaustion. 2 days before closing, he goes to the house one last time. Most of his things are already in storage. Just a few items left. He walks through the empty rooms, listening to his footsteps echo. In the bedroom, he notices something. A small mark on the wall where her dresser used to be. A scratch in the paint. Evidence that something was here, then removed. He almost takes a photo, then doesn't. What would be the point? The closing happens on a Tuesday. He sits in a conference room at the title company. Signs page after page. Initials. Dates. Authorizations. Nia is in a different room. He asks if he can see her. The title agent checks, comes back shaking her head. She'd prefer not to. When it's over, the agent hands him a check. His portion, minus her reimbursement, minus fees, minus half the closing costs. It's enough to start over. Not enough to feel like winning. He folds the check and puts it in his wallet. Outside, he stands in the parking lot for a long time, trying to decide where to go. The house isn't his anymore. The hotel feels temporary. Everything feels temporary. His phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. The storage unit with your things is 341. Code is 8847. Rent is paid through the end of the month. No signature. But he knows it's from her. He drives to the facility. Finds the unit. Opens it. Inside are his belongings, neatly organized. Boxes labeled in her handwriting. Furniture positioned carefully to maximize space. Even in leaving, she thought of him. Made it easier. Left things better than he would have. The realization doesn't feel like kindness. It feels like indictment. He sits on the concrete floor of the storage unit, surrounded by his life in boxes, and finally understands. She didn't take everything from him. She just stopped giving him access to what was never entirely his to begin with. Nia wakes in an apartment that doesn't feel like home yet. The lease is 6 months. The furniture is minimal. A couch from a discount store. A table with 2 chairs, though she only needs one. The bedroom has a mattress on a frame and curtains that don't quite fit the windows. It's nothing like the house. That's intentional. She makes coffee in a machine she bought specifically because it looks nothing like the one they had. The ritual is different here. Simpler. She drinks it standing by the window, watching a parking lot fill with cars as people leave for work. Her own job is remote now. She requested the change a month ago, gave vague reasons about flexibility. Her manager approved without questions. She works from the table with the 2 chairs, sends emails, attends video calls with her camera carefully angled to show only blank wall behind her. No one asks where she is. No one needs to know. At lunch, she eats a sandwich without tasting it. Her appetite has been inconsistent. Some days she's hungry. Other days food feels theoretical. Her phone sits face down on the table. She's blocked his number, but sometimes messages come through from numbers she doesn't recognize. His sister. His mother once. A cousin she met twice. She doesn't respond to any of them. Sarah calls in the afternoon. How are you doing? It's a question Nia doesn't know how to answer honestly. I'm fine. You don't sound fine. I'm functional. That counts. Sarah is quiet for a moment. Have you talked to anyone? Like, professionally? You mean a therapist? Yeah. Nia looks around the apartment. The blank walls. The minimal furniture. The life stripped down to essentials. Maybe eventually. Eventually meaning when? I don't know, Sarah. The conversation trails off into other topics. Sarah's job. A movie she watched. Plans for the weekend. Normal things that feel alien. When they hang up, Nia sits in the silence and realizes she doesn't remember what Sarah said about the movie. That night, she tries to read. A novel she bought at the grocery store because the cover looked calming. She gets 3 pages in before realizing she hasn't absorbed a single word. She closes the book and stares at the ceiling instead. Sleep comes late and leaves early. She dreams about the house. Not nightmares exactly. Just scenes. Walking through rooms. Looking for something she can't name. The dreams are repetitive. Boring, almost. She wakes feeling tired. Rebecca calls on Thursday. The closing went through. Your portion has been deposited. Okay. That's it. Okay. What else is there? Rebecca hesitates. Most people feel something. Relief. Anger. Something. Nia looks at her bank account on her laptop. The number is larger than it's ever been. Proof of something ending. Evidence of extraction. I feel tired, she says finally. That's normal. You've been running on adrenaline for weeks. But it doesn't feel like adrenaline wearing off. It feels like something heavier. Like she's been holding herself together through sheer will, and now that the crisis is over, the will is gone, and what's left is just weight. Do I need to do anything else? Nia asks. Not right now. The divorce paperwork will take a few months to finalize, but the hard part is done. After they hang up, Nia sits at her table with the laptop open. The bank account. The number that represents 3 years compressed into a transaction. She doesn't feel triumphant. She doesn't feel free. She feels like someone who's been running for so long that stopping is disorienting. Like her body doesn't know what to do with stillness. On Saturday, she drives to the storage unit. She's been putting it off, but the rent is only paid through the end of the month and she needs to decide what stays and what goes. Inside, her belongings look unfamiliar. Things she packed in urgency now seem arbitrary. Why did she keep this lamp? This particular set of dishes? The blue sweater she hasn't worn in 2 years? She sits on a box and looks at the accumulation. Proof of a life. Evidence of choices made when she thought different things mattered. She doesn't cry. She's been waiting for that. For some kind of emotional release. But it doesn't come. Instead, she makes a list. Keep. Donate. Trash. The categories are simple. The decisions aren't. By evening, she's made progress, but not enough. She'll have to come back tomorrow. And the day after. The task feels endless. At home, she's trying to call the apartment home. She heats soup from a can. Eats it at the table while scrolling through her phone without purpose. A notification appears. Someone from college has gotten engaged. The photos show a couple on a beach at sunset. Everyone in the comments section is celebrating. Crying emojis. Heart emojis. Exclamation points. Nia closes the app. That night, lying in bed, she thinks about the moment she decided to leave. She keeps trying to pinpoint it. When exactly did leaving become inevitable instead of impossible? There wasn't a single moment. Just accumulation. A series of small erasures that eventually added up to something too large to ignore. She wonders if he's figured that out yet. If he's sitting somewhere thinking about the same thing, trying to identify the exact point where everything broke. Or if he's already reframing it, building a story where this was her overreaction, her inability to be reasonable, her failure to communicate. The thought makes her angry, which feels better than the numbness. Anger has energy, purpose. She holds on to it for a while, letting it burn. But eventually it fades too, leaving just the familiar weight. Sunday morning, she goes to a coffee shop. Something she used to do before. Before him. Before the house. Before she learned to make herself smaller. She orders something complicated. Extra shot. Oat milk. The barista writes her name on the cup with a smiley face next to it. She sits by the window and watches people. A couple sharing a pastry. A man reading the newspaper in print like it's still 1995. Two women laughing at something on a phone. Everyone looks like they know what they're doing. Like their lives make sense. Nia sips her coffee and wonders when her life will feel that way. If it ever will. Her phone buzzes. A text from a number she doesn't recognize. I'm sorry. I really am. I know you won't believe me. But I am. She knows it's him. Change number. Final attempt. She reads it 3 times. Then deletes it without responding. At home, she lies on the couch and stares at the ceiling. The apartment is quiet. No one breathing beside her. No footsteps she needs to track. No adjustments required. Just her. And the space. And the weight of having everything she wanted feeling nothing like she expected. She closes her eyes. She doesn't feel free. She doesn't feel victorious. She feels unfinished. Like a sentence that stops mid-thought, leaving the meaning ambiguous. And she doesn't know if that will change. If there's supposed to be a moment where everything clicks into place and the decision feels justified. Or if this is just what it means to leave. To trade one kind of discomfort for another. To choose the uncertainty of alone over the certainty of erasure. Outside, a car alarm goes off. Someone's dog barks. Life continues in its messy, ordinary way. Nia opens her eyes and looks at the ceiling. Still there. Still blank. Tomorrow she'll go back to the storage unit. She'll sort through more boxes. She'll make more lists. She'll keep building this new life one small decision at a time. But tonight, she just lies here. Breathing. Existing. Waiting for something she can't name to arrive or pass or settle into something she can live with. For now, it's enough to simply be here. In this space that's hers. Uncomfortable and unfinished and real. 3 months later, Nia still hasn't unpacked everything. The boxes in the spare bedroom remain stacked against the wall. She opens one occasionally. Finds something she forgot she owned. A book. A scarf. A photograph from a trip she took before she met him. She doesn't remember where the trip was. The photo shows her younger, smiling at something off camera. She looks happy. Or maybe just unaware of what was coming. She puts the photograph back in the box and closes it. The apartment has accumulated small routines. Coffee by the window. Work at the table. Walks in the evening when the air cools and the light turns golden. She doesn't go far. Just around the neighborhood. Enough to move her body. Enough to mark the passage of time. Sometimes she sees couples. Walking dogs. Carrying groceries. Existing in that easy synchronization that feels impossible to her now. She doesn't envy them exactly. She just notices. The way you notice weather or architecture. Observed but not internalized. Rebecca calls less frequently now. The divorce is moving through the system. Paperwork. Waiting periods. Bureaucratic delays that have nothing to do with either of them and everything to do with process. Should be finalized by April, Rebecca says during one of their brief check-ins. Okay. You sound tired. I am tired. That's normal. Nia wonders when things will stop being described as normal and start just being. Sarah invites her to dinner. A group thing. Friends from college. People Nia hasn't seen in years. She almost declines. Then doesn't. Then spends an hour deciding what to wear before settling on something that looks effortless but required significant effort. At the restaurant, everyone is kind. Carefully kind. The way people are when they know something happened but don't know the details. How have you been? Someone asks. Good. Busy with work. It's not a lie. Just incomplete. Conversation moves to other topics. Jobs. Travel. Someone's engagement. The table celebrates appropriately. Nia smiles, and says the right things and feels like she's performing a role she used to know how to inhabit naturally. On the drive home, she feels neither better nor worse, just aware that she participated in normalcy and it felt foreign. The divorce finalizes on a Tuesday in April. Rebecca sends the final decree via email. It's anticlimactic. Just a PDF with legal language and official stamps. "You're legally single," Rebecca writes. "Congratulations." Nia stares at the word. Congratulations. As if this is an achievement. A milestone to celebrate. She closes her laptop without responding. That evening, she sits by the window with coffee even though it's too late for caffeine. Outside, someone is moving into the building, carrying boxes up 3 flights of stairs. The person looks exhausted but determined. Nia watches until the moving truck leaves and the lights in the new apartment turn on. Her phone buzzes. A message from a number she doesn't recognize but knows anyway. Him. Again. Different number. Same attempt. "I heard it's final. I just wanted to say I hope you're okay." She reads it twice. 3 times. Tries to find the apology underneath the politeness. Or the accusation. Or the plea for absolution. But maybe it's just what it says. "I hope that she's okay." She types, "I am." Then deletes it. Types, "Thank you." Deletes that too. Finally settles on, "Take care of yourself." She sends it before she can reconsider. 3 dots appear. Then disappear. Then appear again. "You too." That's all. She blocks the number and sets her phone aside. Outside, the light fades. The sky turns violet, then gray, then black. The streetlights flicker on in sequence, marking territory against the dark. Nia stays by the window longer than necessary. Watching. Thinking. Not thinking. She wonders if this is what freedom is supposed to feel like. This absence of urgency. This lack of drama. This quiet that doesn't demand anything from her. It doesn't feel triumphant. It doesn't feel like an ending. It feels like a door that's been left open. Not inviting. Not threatening. Just open. In the weeks that follow, life continues its accumulation. Small things. A plant she buys and manages not to kill. A new coffee shop she tries and decides she likes. A book she reads all the way through without losing focus. She runs into someone she knows from the old neighborhood. They make polite conversation. Ask about the house. She says she sold it. They nod like this is a reasonable decision and don't probe deeper. After they leave, she realizes she didn't feel the need to explain. Didn't feel compelled to justify or defend or make them understand. It's a small thing, but it registers. One Saturday, she drives past the old house without meaning to. Takes a wrong turn and ends up on Maple Drive before she realizes where she is. The house looks the same. Different car in the driveway. Different wreath on the door. But structurally unchanged. She doesn't stop. Just drives past slowly. Noting. Cataloging. Feeling something she can't quite name. Not loss. Not regret. Just recognition. That she lived there once. That it mattered. That it doesn't anymore. By summer, she's unpacked most of the boxes. The apartment has furniture now. Actual furniture she chose. A bookshelf. A lamp that makes the living room feel warmer. Curtains that fit properly. It's not the house. But it's not trying to be. One evening, she sits on her couch, the one she picked, that no one else had opinions about, and realizes she's comfortable. Not happy. Not fixed. Not transformed. Just comfortable. In this space. In this quiet. In this life that belongs only to her. She picks up her phone and scrolls through old photos. Finds one from years ago. Before him. Her. Laughing at something. Hair different. Clothes different. Expression open in a way she'd forgotten was possible. She doesn't recognize herself exactly. But she doesn't not recognize herself either. She sets the phone down and looks around the apartment. The blank walls she hasn't decorated. The spare bedroom still half empty. The kitchen where she cooks for one. It's not finished. Maybe it never will be. But it's hers. Built from leaving. Constructed from absence. Proof that she could walk away from what was breaking her and still be here on the other side. Not whole. Not healed. Just here. The air conditioner clicks on. The neighbor upstairs walks across their floor. A car passes on the street below. Ordinary sounds. Background noise. The hum of life continuing. Nia closes her eyes and breathes. In. Out. In. Out. Tomorrow she'll make coffee by the window. She'll work at her table. She'll walk in the evening when the light turns golden. The routines will repeat. The days will accumulate. And somewhere in that accumulation, maybe the discomfort will soften. Maybe the weight will lighten. Maybe the unfinished feeling will evolve into something she can name. Or maybe it won't. Maybe this is it. This imperfect quiet. This incomplete closure. This life that makes sense on some days and feels foreign on others. She opens her eyes. The apartment is still here. She is still here. That, for now, is enough.